Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this one, I wanted to get started with Lab 2 version controlling with Git and Azure Repos. And this is part of AZ400 designing and implementing Microsoft DevOps solutions. Probably one of the most difficult exams that you're going to get from Microsoft. We have completed the Lab 1 already. I have several videos to break down different exercises into small chunks. Please watch it if you have not. In this one, we're going to work on version controlling with Git with Azure Repos. Now, Azure DevOps, you can either use the Team Foundation version control, which is a centralized version control, uh, but most people and most projects that I have worked on, they use Git. Okay, and this is a distributed version control system, and most likely you have a higher probability that you're going to use the Git than the Team Foundation version control. But there are still some legacy projects that are using this, so it's good to know both. So in this lab, we're gonna clone an existing repository, and if you use any familiarity with Git, you should know what that is. And we're gonna work with comments. We'll play with the Git sum, review the history with history of changes like with Git logs, and we're going to work with the branches by using the Visual Studio Code. Now you can use many different IDEs since we're talking about Microsoft, and we're going to use Visual Studio Code. We're going to use how Visual Studio Code can help you do the management of your Git. So you don't need this section. You can just start with exercise 0, which is the configure the lab prerequisite. So in this one, we are going to set up the prerequisite for the lab. Now what we're going to use, we're going to use the parts unlimited team project. Okay, and we're going to go to the Azure DevOps demo generator and get a sample template. Okay, and we're going to use a Visual Studio Code configuration. So let's get started with the task 1, configure the parts unlimited team project. So we're going to go to this Azure DevOps demo generators. So I'm just going to right click on it and open it up in a new tab. Okay, usually it asks you to sign in, so this is the one. I'm going to sign in here, and here you can choose, you can name your project, you can select the organization, and then you have to choose a template. Okay, so let's see what the lab is saying. So in here they're saying that sign in, so you're done with this step. We're done with this step, all of that done. New project version control, select organize. Okay, so we're gonna name the new project as version controlling with Git in Azure Repos. Okay, so that is what I need. So go and put the project name as this, and then organization, you choose your own organization. I have only one created right now that we created in the previous lab. I'm gonna keep using that one, and then I'm gonna click on choose template, and we want to know which template we are choosing. So we're going to use the parts unlimited template. So come back over here and just go through this uh, boxes. So there are many different templates you can choose, but we're going to use this one. So now if you know that if I clicked on that one, this box is highlighted with that little bit darker thin black border, and I'm going to click on select template. So now everything is good. So all you need to do is hit on the create project, and that will create a project with this name that is based on the parts unlimited template within our organization. It will show up as a new project. So let's see. So here is the next thing that we're going to do, and once it's done, we'll open up the project. So let's just create the project first. So far it's been going on fairly smooth. I have no problem doing any of this work, and it usually takes like a minute or so. So if you want to fast forward the video, you can usually pause, but for this one I'm just going to wait so you can see what steps. So it's first thing that happened, project version controlling with create and Azure repo created. They created two different teams, board column swim lanes and styles updated. So we covered all of these different concepts in the previous video. What is a swim lane? What is how to add new styles? What about columns? We have covered all that. These are all for the agile planning, project management, okay, Kanban boards, all of that stuff. Let's see what else we need in here. Still going pretty smooth. Okay, and maybe I do need to pause for a second. Usually it gets done even quicker. So let me pause for a second, and as soon as it's done, we'll come back and then we'll move to the project. Well, even before we start, it says build definition created and the release definition created. That's good. Let's see where we are. So we are almost done. So maybe I don't really need to pause. So I'm just gonna stop. So you can again move the bar just a little if you don't want to wait with me, or just go get a cup of coffee. Okay, there we go. So now it says congratulations, your project is successfully provisioned, and right at the bottom next to it, it says navigate to the project. Just click on that one. So this is the project, okay, and this is Azure DevOps, and this is the name of the project over here as well. And these are all the things that got, well, they were already there as part of the project, but you will see that these things are populated based on the template that we have selected. Let's go back to the lab for a second. So the next thing is to install and configure Git and the Visual Studio Code. Now, what I'm gonna say that I'm gonna skip this portion. So I'm gonna assume that you know how to install the Visual Studio Code. Let me just show you. If I have the Visual Studio Code installed, and it's really simple to install. So I'm just gonna skip this step uh, for you, and just go to Google. If you don't know, just search for Visual Studio Code and you should be able to download and use it. Okay, it's just simple installation. And also you got to install the Git. So if I do cmd, my cmd, if I do Git, the Git is installed. So install the Git and your Visual Studio Code. And once you install the Visual Studio Code, there are a couple things that you have to do. Okay, you can definitely, you need to do these two commands: git config global user global, and then put your username, and then you need the user email, and that's for tracking. So when you commit some code, Git will use your name and user email address as part of the commit, like who did this work. Okay, and this one is additional that I have not run in my environment. So let me just run this. Go to git config and git config helper wincrash. Okay, so that's something I just ran. Rest of the thing I don't think I need to run at all. So if I run git config, okay, and so you can uh, use some of that maybe to understand what you have already configured. So git config, they have a get all dash get all q. What did we have? Yeah, so some of that you can play with some of these commands and see what you can do. Okay, this is there a list? I usually go for a list that also gives you a list. It's not there, so don't worry about this one for now. So make sure that you have run this. Okay, wincred. Okay, so that is there to help you with the credential, and make sure to configure these two. Okay, git config, and for my environment this is all configured. Okay, so the next exercise is really the exercise one. This is where really your fun begins. Now we're going to clone the existing repository. Now what we need to do, we need to switch to the DevOps, go to our project, okay, and we're going to go to the repos, and we're going to click on the clone icon. Okay, so if you go back, go to your repo, here is a repo, go to your repo, and in this repo you see the clone icon at the very top. This is what they're asking you to click on. Now since it's a Microsoft world, so you see that you can clone it directly inside your VS Code. You can clone it to many other environment as well if you like. but you see the VS Code is selected by default. Let's see what do we need to do next. Getting a local copy of the Git repo is called cloning. So cloning really means, I hope if you know anything about Git, so Git is on a server. When you clone, you get a copy in your local machine and you work on that copy. And then when you're done, you push your code back to the server. Okay, that's the general idea of Git. And on the clone repository panel with the HTTPS command and option selected, click copy to clipboard. Okay, so let's see which one they're talking about. I'm going to close this window. HTTPS, so they're talking about this one. So we are not using this. We are copying this one, and then we can close to this to the repository panel. So let's close this. And what they're saying, close the corner. Okay, switch to the visual code running your lab computer. Click the view menu and click on command palette. So if you have this, go to view menu, and the view menu, you have a command palette somewhere. Command palette is at the very top. Let me bring this window just over here like this. Okay, so view, this is the command palette. You can also put Control Shift P to bring it up. So when it's here, okay, Control Shift P, okay, what you need to run the command is git clone right here. Okay, so again, view, command palette, git, and then clone. Okay, it's already giving you some suggestions. You can click on it. So now it's asking provide a repository URL to pick up a repository source. Okay, so in this case, what you want to do, you paste the repo that you have cloned. So let's go back. So here I'm gonna paste the link. So that's what I copied and hit enter. Okay, so once I did that, it's asking select a location and move to C drive, create a new folder called Git, and say select repository. So let's just do that. So you're gonna move to what? Move to this PC. I don't have any C, so let's create a new drive here, new folder, Git, and select the repository location. Okay. Now what's happening is saying cloning Git repository, but it needs some authentication. It just Git needs to be authenticated to that particular default before you can do anything. So let's see and go back, see what else it's telling you. So when prompted, log on to your Azure DevOps account. After the cloning process completed, once prompted in the Visual Code, click open. So for here, all I need to do is log into my account, and I should be able to clone the repository properly. So do this for me. Okay, let's see if I can log in. Log in. There we go. So it says failed to authenticate to Git remote. Open Git log. So command output. Okay, so let me try again. Maybe I mistyped some command. So you do that. Hopefully you're successful. I'm gonna pause or log in and then restart the video again. Okay, this time I provided the right password. So I'm logged in and it says over here, would you like to open the clone repository or add it to the current workplace? So let's click on that one. Let's see what happens. Yes, buddy, I would like to do that up here at the bottom. Click on the open or open in new window. I'm gonna do that open in new window since I have some project already open in this one. If you have everything blank, you can just click on open as well. So I'm gonna click on open in new window and I'm gonna trust the author and the location, and there we go. So you now have our code, and the parts unlimited project is over here. We have multiple different folders: docs folder, environment folder, source folder, test folder, some files, the git ignore, everything has been imported over here. So let's see what's going on with our direction. So we are really done with our exercise 1. Okay, and in the next one, we're going to start working with the saving work with comments. So I'm going to pause the video here and stop it, and we'll create the next video to work on this particular item, just to make sure the videos are kind of short and manageable. Okay, so let's see you in the next video, and we'll continue working with save works with comments. Thanks for watching.